Greetings again from beautiful South Africa. This is Adventures in Africa with Doc. Thank you for joining us again. Today, I'm really blessed to have a guest that was here recently.
All right. Well, thank you, Doc and Blessman International, for having me. My name is Bonita Davis. I'm married to my husband, Shan. We've been married 49 years this December. That's kind of dating me, but we were high school sweethearts. Thus, it's been a lot of great years. We have 4 adult children, all married, and we have 12 grandchildren. Just such blessings in our life. 9 kind of live around us, and then 3 are in Colorado. As far as my testimony, um, I don't know a time that I've never not known and loved Jesus. I was blessed to grow up in a Christian home and had incredible parents. They are both gone now, living with Jesus. I can't wait to see them again someday. And I grew up on a farm in Iowa, and it was kind of such a blessing of a childhood growing up on a farm. And
What
I
part of
didn't.
Iowa did you grow up in?
What part of Iowa? We
Yeah.
are close to Cedar Falls, Waterloo area.
Yeah.
It's between Dike and Grundy Center. We raised our family actually in Cedar Falls, Iowa for 24 years. And then we built a home in the country about 10 years ago, right where I grew up. So we
Wow.
just lived down the road from where I grew up. So Psalm 23 has always been just such it's really spoke to my heart when I was little even, and I didn't understand as much as I do now, but we lived on a hill and we're still on a hill, and we have a creek and a pasture, and just that those words
Beautiful.
have just really resonated with me, and there's just such peace and comfort in this. I turn on the gravel road from being, working days, and there's just this peace and calm that comes over that. And I know that to be the Holy Spirit, and he's everywhere, but he's really in this place in the pasture. And it's just, he leads me beside still waters. And so, there's been, in all Christian lives, ebbs and flows and valleys. And, but I would say, my youngest daughter and I did a mission trip to the Philippines. And when I came back from that, I got baptized as an adult, and it was in a local state park in this lake. And it was so fitting, thinking about John the Baptist baptizing Jesus. And it just really, that was really profound. And I have felt ever since then, just my faith journey, just continuing to grow stronger and stronger. And, I just, with age comes wisdom, they say. And so I just feel like from all of those things, God has just really shown me so many things as I continue to get older. And you think about heaven a lot more when you get older. And I think my purpose and my passion in this life now, because once you retire, you really don't know what that purpose is. But I would say my grandchildren, being a real person that walks alongside them and does life with them, speaks truth into them, has the hard conversations, and they have become so dear, and we're all very close, and I'm so thankful for that. And I think when you start when they're little, they still, when our oldest is 19 and our youngest is 1, and those relationships are very, very important to me. And God continues to bless that. And just like he says in the Bible, from generation to generation, you see that. I just see that taking place from the prayers of my great grandparents to my grandparents to my parents. And now it's just continuing. So it's a beautiful picture of how God honors. If you honor him, he continues to honor you with generation after generation. So, yeah.
I love your story. Thanks, Bonita, for sharing all
Yes,
of that.
of course.
I also grew up in a very rural part of Iowa, very small town, spent many summers working on farms. And as you saw when you came to visit us here in Africa, we live out in the country. And
Yep.
I'm definitely a country guy. I just don't feel
Yep.
comfortable in the city,
Yep.
but I love being able to live out in the country and just enjoy God's creation.
Yeah.
And I agree with everything you said about ministering to your family, and that's your mission field. And you are doing it properly, in my view, at least. I'm sure
Hmm.
not everybody in the world agrees with you and I, but yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Well, I think our audience is interested. Usually, when they tune in, they want to hear a bit about Africa.
Oh my.
Tell me a bit about why you chose to come to Africa and kind of what it was like for you when you came.
Okay. I could talk on and on and on about South Africa because it's in my heart. Will always be in my heart. It is an incredible place, pretty unexplainable. I was just talking to Becky, one of your staff at Blessman, and she said she hadn't went yet. And I said, you have to go. You have to go because it's quite incredible. But it's truly a God story with me actually going because we had been looking for a new church for a while and had visited Trinity and really enjoyed Trinity. And the first Sunday, we winter in Arizona. And so the first Sunday we were back, they mentioned a trip they were doing to South Africa. And immediately my heart was stirred. Went home and started praying about it and talked to my husband. And it was clear that I should go. And the meeting for it was the night, the a couple nights later, and so it was kind of a whirlwind of okay, God, I hear you. I want to go. So that's how I decided to go, and it was different because I didn't know anybody really on the trip. I had met a couple of them, but meeting them is different than doing this South Africa trip with hours and hours on a plane. And before, when
Wow.
we did our mission trip, I knew the people very much, and of course, I was with my daughter, um, so I really wanted to invest in um, not just the trip, but relationships with the people that were going. And so at times, it felt overwhelming and trying to do those two things, but I clearly heard from the Lord, just invest in the people in Africa. And it they are so incredible. First, the beauty of South Africa, the incredible beauty. I'm a nature person, and the beauty and the animals and the just that in and of itself is incredible. And then um, the people that the first night that we went, we were at a girls fellowship, and this would be high school girls, and high school girls are kind of, some can be standoffish and just, I mean, we literally walked in and they run to us, and they didn't know us at all, and it was just, oh my goodness, I just wanted to get every single one of them, put them in my suitcase and bring them back here, as well as the babies. My husband told me no babies can come home, nor elephants or giraffes or but
You know those
yeah.
high school girls you mentioned, they have a very difficult, tough life. They live at that school, and
Mm-hmm.
they're so hungry for people to love on them, like your team did. And I really
Yeah.
appreciate the way your team just cared for them and listened to them and counseled them. And they just love it when they get that kind of love and attention, and it helps them so much because there's a lot of stresses they've been through,
Yeah.
and you could just talk through some of those stresses with another human being.
Yeah.
It is incredibly healing, and so your team was a really good one. Your pastor, John Miller and Karen,
Yeah.
wonderful leaders, and
Wonderful.
they just do a great job of shepherding their flock.
I think every, from the daycare to the nursery to the orphanage to the high school to the farm, what Blessman is doing there, it just blew my mind. I mean, the day that we did the drilling of the well, and this well came up and just shot out, and I said, "This is better than Old Faithful." It
Oh
was
yeah.
just, it's
Well,
quite incredible. And the
yeah.
farm was just amazing as well. I mean, the those cabbages were just massive, massive. And
Yeah.
the chickens, and how you have thought everything out to feed so many children. And Johanny was just incredible farm manager. And to be able to see and experience, and I told, I think both you, Doc, and Dustin, thank you for allowing us as teams to be a part of that. I think that that was so impactful, that to really see um, the behind the scenes and everything that goes on and what it takes, and how you've built from just a dream of yours, and now where it's at, and how God is just in every moment, everything. And that's not to say, I'm sure you've had so many things that have been so difficult over the years, but it was every single thing that we did every single day was amazing. And ending the day around the fireplace at the lodge, or around the fire pit at the lodge, was really just so good to end the day with thoughts about what we did, sharing with one another, having you and Beth join us, and Dustin and Alex. And um, it was really, it's just all so well thought out. And I can't say enough good things about it. It captured my heart. I hope so much to come back someday. Like when we got back, we had a huge kind of party at our house, and I showed all the pictures and spoke. It was 2 hours, but the grandkids had the best questions, really in-depth
Wonderful.
questions just about the kids there, and about
Yeah.
what it was like. And so three of the granddaughters said, can we do a mission trip with you, Grandma? Like, can we go back there? And I said, well, I'd sure love to. So maybe we can do a grandma, granddaughter, grandkids trip sometime. But
We love to bring our granddaughter over here. In fact, that's probably our favorite thing.
yes, I
And she
bet.
loves it. She just, the trip is nothing for the small children. They don't mind it. It's a lot harder for us adults, and the older you get, the harder it gets.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your experience at the orphanage or the baby shelter. What did you find there?
The minute they brought one out, the little arms just went to each of us. So we each got a baby, and that little baby never wanted to leave any one of us. Like we had thought maybe we'd hold numerous babies, but it was like they melded into you. They just they fell asleep. It was that touch that we would sing to them, just spend time with them. And again, it's the touch that the hugs, it was an incredible experience. And then while we were holding the baby, Sandra kind of explained her story, and the frustrations that she has, and more with the adoptions and things like that, because she said she had 41 families waiting for babies, but the logistics with government and all of that is a big thing. So it was a fascinating story, as everyone is. I mean, everyone has a story. Your staff were incredible. Just spending time with each one of them was such a blessing. So um, I just can't say enough good about Blessman, South Africa. All of it was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience. And I thank you for that. And I really, really hope to come back someday.
Um, Tell me a little bit about how you experience the difference in our African culture as far as what church is like compared to Trinity in Iowa.
Oh, wow. That I wish I could pick up that church in South Africa and bring it here. And they worship with their whole heart and being and soul, and they held nothing back. And shouldn't we all worship like that? I mean, it was an incredible experience. And not just, in the churches that we attended, because we went to two different churches, but at the girls' fellowship. I mean, I took video to be able to just show, especially the grandkids here at home, how I mean, eyes closed, arms raised, hands across the heart. And so the worship was was heartfelt, authentic, beautiful, purposeful, such a connection with the Lord. And I think sometimes here we just get too intimidated by either raising your hands or what you're really feeling. And it becomes a more private thing, which is okay, but sometimes you can speak volumes to a new believer in you raising your hands, and they have questions about what that's all about or something like that. But I loved the worship. And I found it to be so endearing that, and forgive me for the first pastor that we had that would have been at Del Kramer. Was that
Jonathan.
Jonathan? Okay. He had an incredible message, and maybe this always happens, but he spoke it in English, and then he had a translator. So I just was so impressed with, they're doing that for us, and then all of their people are being translated. Is that something that normally happens, or was that being done for us that were there that were American?
It's that way every week. And it's
Okay.
by design. We want to help the people here learn English.
Okay.
And so it slows the service down just a little bit, but
Yep.
at both churches, typically will translate. Absolutely. You mentioned a few times when you were here a couple of weeks ago that I reminded you so much of your dad. And
Yeah.
is that just because I'm an old guy, or there are other things that I remind you of your dad?
Well, it was your story. You told your story, and it was so beautiful. And um, it when you really started reminding when you were reminding me of my dad is your tears and your soft heart. And my dad always had such a soft heart, and was such a man of the Lord. And um, it just it just touched me so much. It was like I just wanted to hug you and not let go, because it was like my dad in human form. And um, your soft heart, your the way that you articulate your it's a big faith, but it's a simple faith. You just um, really relied on God and followed him and continue to follow him, and leaving such a legacy. And that's what my dad has left, such a legacy. And down to everything. I mean, just I still have, he wore his overalls every day, every single day, and we actually buried him in his overalls because that was my
I
dad.
love
And I
it.
still have the
That-
last pair of overalls that he wore. And I'm a smells kind of person, and so I will go down, and I never wash them because I wanted the smell of my dad. So it was just so refreshing to go and just seeing you now, you just remind me of my dad, and it's a very dear place in my heart. It was your tears and your
Thank you.
softness.
My dad always loved to wear overalls as well. I've never worn a pair of overalls, but I know he did. He that was his
Well,
favorite thing to wear.
maybe next time I come, I'll bring you a pair. They have to be the striped Oshkosh ones, which are harder to find, but
Yeah.
maybe you'll get a pair of striped overalls in the mail someday.
When you come back, that's what I
Yep,
would like.
yep. There you
Well,
go.
I really appreciate you coming to Africa, and I pray that we'll always be friends.
Yeah,
Well,
we'd love
thank
to.
you for being with us today, and to our audience, thank you for joining us again. And I just love and appreciate you just trusting us and tuning in now and again and learning about our adventures in Africa. We'll be publishing these podcasts every week, and so keep watching for them. And check with our website, blessmaninternational.org, to learn more about our ministry. So have a wonderful day, and thank you.